everybody, really quick before we get started. The video was recording the wrong screen, so I went in and changed it so that it's just showing the deck and the deck list. I apologize for the issue. We'll make sure to have our deck text in the format the new format that I enjoy moving forward. But for this one, if I reference what a card looks like at the time, it's because I did this in MTG Arena and it just didn't record the client. So I apologize. I think the deck text is still worth it, and I hope everybody enjoys. Hello everybody and welcome to a video on the Constructed Criticism YouTube channel. I'm Spencer, I'm the host of Constructed Criticism and the owner of the Constructed Criticism Network. If you haven't checked out the podcast network, that is the thing that I am super proud of these days. We've got Arena Mythicast, we've got Common Knowledge, we got Homework Path, we got Constructed Criticism. We got it all. If you're interested in podcasting to help you improve at Magic Gathering, Constructed Criticism Network is the place to be. With that being said, this week we're going to do a deck tech. So I am actually going to do a Quest for 10 video on this deck. This is the deck that I'm playing at the PTQ this weekend over in Provo for Utah. This is the deck that I've been playing the most of recently, and I made some recent changes that I'm pretty happy with and excited to talk about. So with that being said, we're going to talk about Jund Food. So I'm going to read the deck list first. So we have 4 Cauldron's Familiar, 4 Gilded Goose, 4 Witch's Oven, 1 Assassin's Trophy, 3 Trail of Crumbs, 4 Paradise Druid, 3 Midnight Reaper, 2 Murderous Writer, 4 Mayhem Devil, 2 Vraska Golgari Queen, 1 Wicked Wolf, 1 Massacre Girl, 3 Corvald, and 1 Garruk the Huntsman. Cursed Huntsman, sorry. Our lands are, I think, the same as literally every other mana base. 3 Fabled Passage, 4 of each Shockland. I actually have 1 Temple of Malady, so it might be a little bit different. I have 1 Castle Locthwain, 2 Swamp, 1 Mountain, 3 Forests. So really simple mana base, just trying to kind of have the best 3-color mana base possible. You already have Paradise Druid and Gilded Goose to kind of just make it, so your mana is pretty decent. Our sideboard is 3 Duress, 2 Elder Spell, 1 more Assassin's Trophy, 2 Flame Sweep, 3 Lovestruck Beast, 3 Thrashing Brontodon, and 1 Massacre Girl. So the sideboard definitely, has a lot of interesting cards, and we'll kind of get into what I like and what I don't like and what I could change. This isn't like a definitive deck tech as much as it is where this is the deck list that I'm currently playing. This is where I'm at. This is what I'm thinking going into the PTQ. Whereas when I do the Quest for 10 video on this deck after the PTQ, it would be like, here's the list that I would play. Here's why I would play it. Here's what I learned in my 10 wins, which I already have actually gotten to the 10 wins with this deck. I got there pretty fast. I just didn't have time to write it this week just due to the holidays. But I still want to do a deck tech on the deck and kind of let people know what's going on. So the core of the deck is obviously the Cauldron's Familiar, Witch's Oven, Mayhem Devil synergies, as well as, there's other synergies. You have Trail of Crumbs that cares about when you sacrifice food. You have Midnight Reaper that cares about when a creature dies. You got Vraska Golgari Queen that can sacrifice permanents. You've got Corvald that cares about when you sacrifice permanents. You've got Wicked Wolf that can sacrifice food. So there's like a ton of little synergies, and you've got Gilded Goose that can just make food tokens. Like there's a ton of little things that this deck does really well, and when it all comes together, it is chef's kiss, really beautiful, and something that I really appreciate. So one of the things, the first thing that you'll probably notice about my list is I do have a 6-drop, I do have a Wicked Wolf and only 2 Vraskas, and I have 3 Corvalds. Corvald is by far the most impressive card in this deck for me that's different than I expected. Like, Corvald being able to just take over a game if you have a Witch's Oven in play and a Cauldron's Familiar, the game is over. I had a game where Matt jumped into a video chat where I was in, and I was sharing my screen, and like he's like, "What are you drawing to?" And I was like, "I don't even know, but like if I draw like 13 cards this turn, it's gonna be hard for me to lose." Just drew a second Cauldron's Familiar, a couple 1-drops with a bunch of Witch's Ovens in play, and my opponent eventually lost. And it was like, I don't even know what my out is, but I know that Corvald is gonna give me the best chance to get that out, and it was crazy to have that happen. Paradise Druid is a card that I don't think that I've been as impressed with as I want to be. I think that you could totally trim one of these to do kind of different things. Midnight Reaper is one that when I was looking for lists, I was actually looking for lists with Midnight Reaper, and the card has not impressed me as much as I had hoped. When you look at a card like Midnight Reaper, you expect this card to really take over games. The problem is like, you don't really want to trade your Paradise Druids in this deck. You definitely don't want to trade your Mayhem Devils. So it's really only good when you have Cauldron's Familiar Witch's Oven going off. And even then, it's not that amazing compared to like other cards you could be playing. So you could totally, I could see trimming one of either of these cards to kind of play some different high impact cards. I went down a Murderous Writer. I had 3 Murderous Writers to start. I think that having a split between Murderous Writer and Assassin's Trophy is totally fine. I know a lot of lists only play 2 of these effects. They'll have that 4th Trail of Crumbs. You only really need to draw 1 Trail of Crumbs. The second one actually isn't that good. So I was pretty happy going down to 3. But you know, if you want to, if you just are like, this is my best card, this is my best energy, I should draw one every game. It's totally understandable to be playing 4. I have not had a problem playing 3. I played a list with 4 to start all of this, and was really happy with that list too. So it's not like 4 is bad, but I certainly haven't had a problem with 3 yet. And my sample size is pretty small, so it could be that I'm just getting lucky and drawing them when I need them. Verasco Wicked Wolf split. So this is one that I'm not even sure that I'm right about. I think that you could easily say you just play 0 Wicked Wolf. But one of the things that I noticed is like Wicked Wolf and Verasca, diversifying this, Flame Tongue Kavu effect has been pretty good for me. And also there's just a lot of games that when you have a Wicked Wolf, it can take over that Verasca couldn't have taken over. So I like diversifying even though the cards do quote unquote similar things for the deck. But yeah, I think that, Verasca's synergy to just be able to sacrifice any permanent, it's the number of times that's come up that you're like, I really wish that I had a way to kill this Cauldron's Familiar without using the Switch-ins of it. And you're just like, oh, duh, I can just sacrifice it with Verasca. That's been really powerful and something that I've cared about a lot. And something that's come up way more times than you would think it should. So that's definitely a play to look out for. Plus, when you have Midnight Reaper, having something that kind of just, does that, more Witches of an effects for your Cauldron's Familiar with Midnight Reaper certainly comes up. Garruk is one that I love this card. It's really good when you draw it, when you need an answer that can also take over the game. However, it feels like decks are really good at pressuring Garruk right now, and the Wolves aren't as good. There's a lot of flying between Rankle and Order of Midnight and stuff like that, so it hasn't been as good as I expected. Especially, even the Fires decks, if they're playing the Cavalier version with Sphinx of Insight, like there's just a lot of flyers. But Garruk can still come down early, and if he does come down early, he can take over a game. You have 8 ramp creatures in this deck, meaning that I'm pretty happy playing a top-end card. So we have a Massacre Girl on the main and a Massacre Girl on the side. I know a lot of people think that Massacre Girl is better than Corvold in this deck. I don't think that. I think that you want both of them, and you want, multiples of both of them somewhere near 75. But for me, Corvold has been better. Massacre Girl, interestingly enough, in this deck, I have found that I often don't want to wipe my own board. So even in the mirror matches, like, you have to play in a way that you maximize your Massacre Girl. And against some decks, like, it just hasn't been what I expected. That being said, it's still great. Still has menace. Still a 4/4 evasive creature that just wipes the board and leaves you with a 4/4, which is totally fine. Sometimes it's not as good as just continuing what you're doing until you have to Massacre Girl. So that's kind of what I have to say on that. As far as the sideboard goes, the card I'm least impressed with is actually Elder Spell. The thing is that you really want this if you do play against one of the Planeswalker versions of Jeskai Fires, or if you play against Esper Planeswalkers of some kind. But man, is this card dead outside of that right now. There's just not that many other decks that you want Elder Spell against. I would consider trimming one and maybe finding another high impact spell that like fixes other bad matchups right now, and that could be where I end up for this PTQ. But the rest of the sideboard's pretty sweet. Flamesweep has been really good. Lovestruck Beast has been kind of both. It's obviously very good against aggro decks, but your deck is kind of good against aggro decks, so it's a bit harder. Thrashing Brontodon, been great. I board this card in all the time. I think you could even board this card in the mirror. You could just play this card main. Like, I think that you could easily cut a Midnight Reaper in the main for a Thrashing Brontodon in the main and be completely happy. The card has been that good. You have Duress and Assassin's Trophy, kind of these multiple matchup kind of answers, and obviously that's like a Massacre Girl that we already talked about. Overall, I think this deck is very strong. It's something I'm excited about kind of getting a chance to talk about. It's a little bit shorter video this week. This is just where I'm at, what I'm thinking about, what things I would think I would change. Let me know if you have a Jund list that you like. Put that in the comments. and let me know. I'd be happy to take a look. I'm getting ready for a PTQ this weekend. This is the deck that I'm going to bring to the table. Tell me what you're playing in Standard. Tell me your favorite Standard deck, and maybe I could do a deck on that too. So thank you everybody so much for watching. Don't forget to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and ring the bell if you want to get more notifications about the videos that I've been doing. Thank you so much for watching. The comments over the last couple weeks and months, and the kind of the steady growth of the YouTube channel has been really cool. And it's encouraging me to continue to make content. Sorry for the holidays and kind of the crazy months of the year. I'll try to do consistent content the next 2 months, but we'll kind of see how it goes. Thank you so much. See you guys next week with another video here on the YouTube channel. And don't forget to check out our sponsors over at puremtgo.com.